here in Danjan, Balai. I'm just going right into it. Good morning, everyone. Let's see, I got 3 people. I know one of them's me here. I decided to I have 2 phones going. I have my old SIM card from Malaysia here still. The TelDigi network is a pretty good network. You're coming across the way and you have money on your account on the TelDigi from Malaysia. You're able to buy roaming packages and stuff like that. So I'm able, for at least for the next 7 days, use this phone too. It's more expensive. They don't give you many hours, but all right, who do we got? Matt, hey brother, how you doing? I wasn't sure how you guys were gonna do because I know it's 10 o'clock here, but it's 11 o'clock in Malaysia. Matt, it's probably about the same time for you because you're still over there in the United States. Hey Doug, how you doing, brother? Thank you for this recommendation here. It's allowed me the time to actually get all my ducks in a row and start getting ready to start pedaling tomorrow. So tonight will be my last night. I have everything wanted to go wrong since coming over the border, but it was funny because everything was trying to go wrong, and then something would pop up and just kind of like kind of make up for whatever else that was trying to go wrong. So yeah, you were one of the correctors of my problems, because sleeping in the park, I was like, sleeping in a new spot. It's kind of down and gritty here. I really wasn't sure, the safety. It's actually pretty safe here. But I didn't know that at the time, coming into this country and stuff like that. You know how it is going into a new country. Let's see. So anyway, this was more or less just off the cuff. I'm sitting, if you guys could notice, I'm under the router, because once I go around the wall here, I kind of lose, once I'm around this way. Doug was staying over on this side, but, and it overlooks a mosque right in the middle, which is kind of unique. I've never seen a mosque in the middle of as the centerpiece of a hotel, and I think it's actually cool. That's the very first time I've ever seen that, so it's really cool to me. It gives the place a lot of character, and I really enjoy this spot. And for like less than $5, it's like $4.90. It does actually come with a free breakfast. It says all rooms come with a free breakfast. I just haven't hit them up on it because I'm able to go get a nice bowl of chicken noodle soup and an iced tea for $1.40. It's like food's very, very, very reasonable here. It's just flat out cheap here. The only reason I was having difficulty on the hotel rooms is because I don't think they use platforms like Agoda and Booking.com. So it's not that they're not here. It's just isn't the information about the places are not readily available online, like they are more like in Malaysia and stuff. So yeah, I'm just waking up. I'm doing a cold shake of some instant coffee. That is the trick of cold soak top ramen and cold shaking your coffee in the morning. And so yeah, so everything looks like it's doing good. Let's see what we got here in comments. Okay, just saw the notification at the last second. Lisa went out. I'm glad it's going out. I wasn't sure if I should do more. I know like half of my audience, at least, the majority I'd say, watch it on big screen TV. So I try and keep my live streams this way because it's better on the television. Now I could probably reach more of a mobile audience if I do it, this way. But the fact is, on TV or anything, you're going to end up with just that little annoying little, box. And so right now I'm doing the live streams this way. I was thinking I'll probably do more. So if you're not subscribed, if you watch me regularly, make sure you subscribe with the notifications on. It's not guaranteed you'll get a notification when I go live, but I'll probably do more random vertical live streams, just randomly, like no notification, just pop in and do one that way. That way I can reach a farther audience. I'm trying to get out this stagnant little situation I'm in. Now that I'm starting up a new adventure here, I want to try and get a few more subscribers or watch time more than anything. It's just tinkering with the system, see what works, what doesn't. So I'll see if that helps. So I'll probably do more random vertical, just live streams anytime I have a Wi-Fi connection. Okay. Oh, what was the need to register the IMEI? I Googled it and it says not required unless stay is longer than 90 days. It's the only country that I know that does it, and Google's wrong. If you want a foreign SIM card, now I'm not sure if you have an e-visa, you probably don't need it. I didn't need to register this phone because I'm using the SIM card from Malaysia. So, and the SIM card I got in this phone, they registered my phone for me because I was, so they still registered the IMEI number. I'm assuming it's for protection. That way if I go into someone's country and I don't know, it's a way to track my whereabouts, what I'm actually doing, and that's the only reason I can see that you use it, because you need one to actually have an eSIM for the same reason. So honestly, it's the only country that does it, Matt, so I don't know the full reason, but the thing about registering it, it is free. When you first get off the boat or the plane, you take your ticket that you have and use that as your evidence that you just came in that day. But it has to be the same day, because if you come in anything other than what's on your ticket, they heavily tax you. Basically like $1 a day, I think is what it came out to. So it would cost me $1 million reply, and that would be like $1 a day, basically $60, just because I missed customs. But what it was when the computer crashed in immigration, I couldn't make that next step over to customs, because after you go through that, you scan out. So after you go through immigration, you show your little barcode on your phone, your digital entry QR code. You scan that, you go around the corner, and then you go into the booth that's basically for registering your IMEI phone, and that's all free. But that guy wanted to go home. I didn't realize that. Some guy just walks up to my bike with the bags on it and says, "Can I go through them?" And he goes, like, "Yeah, sure." And he goes through it. The reason why he was going through it is because he wanted to go home. And he didn't want to wait around, because we were like, there was 4 of us, including me. So the last 4 people in line, I was the last person in line. Well, there was a Japanese guy behind me. The computer took a crap and just, crashed it. So that's where the whole problem was. So they sent me, so they took me from the port to the immigration office, 18 kilometers away. Then they told me the next day, "Oh, your phone, well, you have to come back over to the to register your phone back, basically where the port was. The customs office is next to the port." And then when I get back the next day, which you'll see, I think, after I'm done editing on yesterday's video, they say, no, you got to go all the way back to where I was basically the night before by the immigration's office, to get to the actual phone store to pick up. They're the only one. They were the cheap alternative instead of paying all the tax. And so it was basically go this way, go that way, go back this way, and it was like, 8 kilometers each time. There was a little bit of a headache, but something seemed to always pop up. Like the person at the telecom something store was very friendly and very nice. She got my card up and running. It was only like 120 rupee, which was a little. Excuse me. It was 160 rupee or 120 rupee. Came out to about $6. A little over $7. So. Anyway, let me see what the comments say. Yeah, my phone's in landscape. Yeah, you see? Like I said, I just mentioned, if you didn't hear that, I have it in landscape because for the TVs. Most of my live streams have been in landscape. Hey Nikai, looks like you got a badge. You must be one of my first members. I just noticed that. Look at that right there. So you're in a green. I didn't even check that. I made so if you guys didn't know, I couldn't figure out what to do with a membership. So I decided to just make all memberships 99 cents. I figured if I had 1,000 people all at 99-cent memberships, that would be a good income every month. That would be $1,000. So, I'm not greedy, but that would be cool. So, since I think you're my first member, I'm gonna have to start doing live streams just for you. So, yeah, I gotta have to start figuring out. So anyway, yeah, if you guys don't know, you want to help me out some way. I know a lot of you, Matt, you're always dropping in super thanks and all that. I super enjoy that. But if you guys want to spend the 99 cents every month and become part of the official Hobo Club is what I called it. It's all experiment. I figured if I have memberships going, right, then YouTube might push my content a little bit better, just because it'll make them more money and stuff. So. Anyway, thank you for becoming a member. That's awesome. I didn't, so I guess your name goes in green and you get a little badge. That's awesome. That just kind of made my day right there. So yeah, come join the club. And then I'll figure out something. I want to make sure I still give everything for free away. I don't want to just like lock up certain videos for members only. But what I thought I could do is a lot of times when I upload, because I just upload and I don't put in any of the information in my videos, I still haven't worked on the title, still haven't worked on the thumbnail. Well, when I'm doing that, I can just switch it to, members only until I'm done with all the information and stuff, and they can watch it while I'm working on the thumbnail and the information. So it'll go out to the members maybe like 8 to 10 hours earlier than everyone else, possibly up to a day. It just depends on how much I have on the plate. And the other thing, maybe I'll do some live streams for members only, but then I'll set them to public later. So, but just something like a day, like what I do right now. So anyway, I don't know what to really do, so I'm toying with it. So we'll figure it out as we go along. So those are the two things I thought I could offer as an option and still have my channel completely open and free. Nice price for food. Yeah, the food was really delicious. I have a video that I'm going to be posting pretty soon, and today I'm editing yesterday's video. So yeah, this is actually from Malaysia, this instant coffee. It says the coffee is from Malaysia. Yeah, I bought one of the bags of the instant coffee before coming across. Um, it's not raining, by the way, and I am going to be camping. That's why I got my tent. I'm going to set up my tent in my room today, just to make sure, just make sure all the parts are there and see what it has, and just make sure there's no tears. It's a very bright blue, but I didn't want to spray paint it because there's a possibility. I had the black spray paint from doing my bike, but it's not a fabric spray paint, so when it dries off and peels off, it could take some of the waterproofing with it, even though it's nylon, so I'm assuming it's not really waterproof that good. So even though it's bright blue, I have that green rain fly for my I have the green rain fly for my hammock, and I'll just kind of put that over it if I want to blend in and go stealthy, The Hennessy hammock has perfect green, like the perfect color for stealth. It's basically this right here. This is the shirt Irish got me. I might make some up later. Get a hold of Irish if you guys want to get one of these shirts. You can work out all the information with him. If you need the contact, go over to the Telegram board. Okay. Of course you do. Okay, Matt says I have all notifications set up. There is a problem though, Matt. Sometimes my members, even with the notifications on, some of them don't get all of them, all the notifications. So I don't know what actually the big determining factor is on that. The only reason is because this is American Hobo too, so I have 2 accounts. And I sent the notification out here, and all notifications is set on this one. And this American Hobo 2 is also a manager of the American Hobo channel. That way I don't have to switch. If I want to do editing or something on my channel, I can do it from both channels. But I don't always get the notifications. I didn't get the notification that this live stream was going to actually go. Maybe because I'm later than 1,000 members. It's like they push it out mostly to about 1,000 of your subscribers. Definitely when you do a post. And then it kind of, after it goes to your subscriber base, it kind of starts getting pushed out to the general audience, but not by much. Unless you're a popular person, which I'm far from that. Okay, let's see. Let me catch up real quick. I have, let's see, man. Oh, I keep having commercials pop up. I need to knock that off. Okay. It was cool to see the relive of the boat ride. Yeah, I had to speed that up because it was a long boat ride. It's 5 hours. Boat speed to hold very precise heading, much like an aircraft whip. No, what I did was since we were heading more or less in a straight line, the relive, I turned off relive, so I paused it so that it wasn't constantly eating up my back. I figured I didn't need it on the whole 5 hours, so I turned it off and then turned it back on and then turned it off. That's why you see the boat all of a sudden do like a 90 degree like this and down. It's because as we were getting there, I turned it on and it just kind of, I don't know, so yeah, it's just that straight line is because I turned it off. So yeah, the relive, what it does is it just makes a straight line between the last time you had it on and when you turned it off, and when you turn it on, it just is a straight line. So if you have relive and also Strava does the same. So if it crashes or something, it'll just take wherever it last had data from, it just draws straight. So yeah, so that's why you get such a straight line on that little end part. The IMEI registration is required by customs to prevent black market sales, avoiding import duties for smartphones from other countries. That's why I don't know why. You mean the illegal sales of smartphones from other countries, Doug? Is that what you're trying to say? Irish, hey brother, how you doing, my brother? Irish was the other person that was that I hung out with. You guys should know that from all my past videos. It's always good. I'm pretty sure he's one of the few. He's going to be one of my subscribers that sticks with me through Indonesia too, because sometimes there's what's called Doug refers to as the Malaysian bump. Malaysians like to see foreigners come into Malaysia and try the food and see the different spots. And so my big subscriber base, the majority of, I think it's 80% of my subscribers are from Malaysia. So I'm wondering, now that I'm in Indonesia, how much of a dive I'm going to actually have. So I'm hoping that people stick around and kind of, watch me for me and not just because I'm in a certain country. But we'll find out. But even if I do take a dive, the ones that stick around are the ones that actually are watching because they've grown fond of, my style or whatever. So, Irish is definitely a good brother, and he made my trip to Malaysia definitely, just his kindness and his family is really was cool. I very much enjoyed meeting all of them. So. Okay, Doug says we need to start a contest. How many different ways will Daniel say Rupai by the time he leaves? So far we have Rupal, I know. Rupaya, that's it, sorry. Yeah, so that's two differences, Rupaya. It'll take me a few days before it gets in my head. The Rupal was because kind of I guess my mispronunciation of the Russian Ru with a B, Rupal, and so I think that's where that stems from. Plus, when I hear something, I say it the same way that I hear it. So I heard it originally as Indonesian Rupai or Rupal, so that's how I started. That got locked in my head that way. Now I'm like, oh no, I misheard it. It's not that way. I know anybody says, well, just read it, Yeah, I guess I could do that too. I'm one of those audio. So I learned by doing with my hands. It's they call it kinetic learning, right? So back in the days of school and stuff, they just called it a learning disability because they had the audio visual learners and stuff like this, where some people learn from what they hear, some people learn from the way they see. But kinetic learning was not very fully understood at the time. Kinetic learning means you have to be thrown into it, and you have to use your hands, and you have to get down and dirty with it. Like mechanic work and different things like this. You just gotta kind of start doing it, and that's how you learn. And so when I was growing up, it was just considered a learning disability. So I was held back in kindergarten stuff. Plus I was emotionally not really ready for, I didn't get the whole process of why you took your kids and you threw them in a place and then you left them. You know what I'm saying? So all I saw was, I was around a bunch of strange kids and and my parents took off. So I didn't quite get the concept of it. So I kind of was emotionally not liking it. But by the end of the year, I really liked my kindergarten teacher, Mr. Rogers. So when they said, hey, he's not emotionally fit to go into the first grade, let's keep him back one more year in kindergarten, I was all set for that. So that after that first initial year, I started getting a hang of it. But through school, being a kinetic learner, it was always seen as a learning disability. So it's not. It's just a different way we all learn. And hey, Matt Rose, got a super thanks. Thank you, my brother. That's always awesome. So anyway, that's a little more about me. So, but another thing I had also too is when I hear a word, that's the way I mimic that word, like parakeet or something. So I end up having what sounds like an accent, but I grew up in California. California doesn't really have an accent unless you're like by the beach or something. You might have a surfer accent or something. But people are like, "Oh, you're from Texas?" I'm like, "Nah, I just mispronounce words like people from Texas." So like one was like ambience. I always it's like, "Did you just say ambience?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I still can't pronounce it correctly. It's like ambluance or something. But I hear ambience, so I say ambience. They're like little kids say ambience. I'm like, well, that's how I learned the word. I learned it when I was a little kid. And so there you guys go. There's a story about me. So I'm not retarded. I'm not retarded. I'm just a kinetic learner. I need that shirt. So, all right. Let me catch up on this. Let's not forget about the hammock, please. I'm not forgetting about the hammock. It's just hammocks became one of the things. If you guys ever watch any of the survival shows and stuff, I remember David Canterbury and other ones like Wolf Creek and different things like this. Well, anyway, for a little while people were like, "Oh, hammocks are the way to go. It gets you off the ground. All you need is basically a tarp above it, and it's a full living system." And it is, but honestly, when you're off the ground, you get the hot air sucked out from that underbreeze underneath you, unless you have like an underquilt, and then you don't really have a spot to put your bags under everything when you go very small, like the Hennessy hammock has a very small tarp. You have to have the trees that are spaced apart. People are like, "Well, yeah, but the ground doesn't have to be flat." Yes, it does. Because if you got too much bush underneath you and stuff, the hammock's going to want to sit down and possibly tear. So the ground has to be cleared away. Plus, if you got crap falling out of your pocket, you don't want it going between rocks and stuff, so the ground underneath you does matter. And now you're throwing in different factors that you need trees that are perfectly spaced apart. And if you have a tarp, you've got to think about tying off the tarp unless you're nailing it into the ground. But if you want that porch mode, usually you want the trees to tie off to. And I've had stakes pull up a lot. So what happens is with a hammock, it's a great system. It's a more finicky system than just having a cheap old Walmart tent. And that's what I got, $7.50. Just opened up a whole different world for me, because sometimes it's just shrubs, and I'm just around a bunch of shrubs, nothing I can actually put a tent up, or the trees are in a section that's all overgrown, and if I want to get out a stick and start whacking down the bushes and whacking them back and all this, the preparation takes way too long. Especially when you got cobras and and you get too far back there, you're starting to get into like, well, to me it would be mountain lions. Here it would be, just regular old tigers and stuff like that. And over here in Indonesia, it's probably pumas of some type. But so there's a danger of trying to push too far into the overgrowth. So hammocks are just more picky, honestly, and but hammocks are also very stealthy because the tent's very easy to see. It's just, and everybody knows what a tent is. When you're in like a Hennessy hammock, it just looks like a weird upside down triangle, from a distance. It doesn't even look like a hammock. So anyway, yeah, no, I'm not going to forget. I'm going to try and keep my hammock as my primary source, but since I'm riding around on a bicycle, I can carry a little extra weight. So that tent, I mean, come on, 30 ringgit, which is like $7.50. I'm like, yeah, so that's just opened up a good possibility. So if it starts raining, I'm just going to throw up the tent real fast. Now there's problems with tents too. It's like you have to make sure that you're not in a dip because then it rains and it fills up with water. Sometimes you have to trench out around your tent. You know, Tennessee was very bad about the clay level was only down about 3 inches. So like in Arizona, you get flash floods because you have what's called the caliche level. It's about 3 inches down underneath everything too. Caliche is from hard water and stuff like this. It's basically like cement. So that's why, so the water doesn't actually absorb into the ground, and it causes the flash flood. It takes a long time for it to absorb into the ground. It rolls off the ground faster and absorbs. Tennessee was the same way, but it was a clay level that was down about 3 inches down, and when the clay got saturated, then it just became a pool. You know, once the clay was saturated, it was like, okay, that's enough. I'm not going to take in any more in the ground. So it would rain really hard for like one day, and then it took an extra week for it to sink back in the ground. And if you were in a low spot, which my tent was, and you know, at first, I had to actually take a bunch of trees that were basically falling over, which were like, you know, in diameter, and just kind of make side by side and knock off all the limbs, baton them off and stuff, so there's no sharp points coming through, and just put them side by side until they were like a raft, and put like pine needles over the top of it, and then I was able to get off the ground that much, and then put my tent on top of that. Quite a bit of work, but when it rained, I was above the water level, and later on I found out that you know, I had a big stack of pine needles, but after you walk in your tent a bunch, you start getting like the whole spot starts becoming wavy and stuff. But I was able to find some plywood out in that field, and underneath your tent, if you ever put some plywood under your tent, man, that's the best thing in the world. Just make sure it doesn't stick out on either side of your tent, because the water can hit it, go underneath it and stuff. But yeah, plywood is awesome underneath a tent. It makes like a hardwood floor on the inside. You just have to make sure that you're sleeping in a little cot or something like that. So that was basically the setup I had for the few years that I lived in the tent and worked scrubbing poo and doing garbage. But that allowed me to do this. So. Okay. Sin noodles left with let's see. Yeah, thank you. We do need to thank Doug. Matt said thanks also to Planet Doug for featuring some hobo content. Yeah, thank you, Doug. You kind of filled in the gaps of like, you're more in depth about a lot of this. Yeah, your videos were really good on the coverage. Mine's a little more, yours is a little bit more long stream and in detail in the same. Mine's more like quick segments and stuff like this. So I really enjoyed your coverage of our time together and stuff like that. So I really appreciate you stepping up to bat on that, Doug. Thank you. Let's see. Nick, I enjoy watching YouTube bike packing by locals in Malaysia and overseas. I see many of them share their YouTube channel. Some print their channel name and stick it at the bike. Others give a card. Yeah, I think Hidden Hammock, wherever he disappeared to, used to do a sticker with a QR code, and he'd slap it up wherever he was. I don't know how to link a QR code to my channel yet. I might thinking about doing that. Doug has cards made up, and yeah, those are both really good ways of advertising. I think the card is pretty good because you could just hand the card to someone. Stickers more like, would you say something we used to do as like graffiti or something, you know. Stickers could almost be seen like as vandalism in some spots, though. Like, I probably wouldn't want to go slapping up my stickers advertising my channel in like Singapore or something. you know, I don't think they'd be too happy because you can easily track down who did it. Just take a picture, you know, take the barcode and figure out who they are. Yeah, Rupaya. Yeah, I get that. I'm just, it'll take me a day or two, and I'll stop calling Indonesia, Malaysia, and I'll stop calling Rupaya, Ringgit. But you'll see on the last video, I mixed those up a lot, which I'll have the video coming out right pretty soon. I had to use my data last night to upload the video because this internet kept shutting off and turning on, shutting off, and if that happens too many times, then it resets the upload and you have to start all over again. So I used up a lot of the bandwidth on my SIM card already. I'm supposed to have 100 gigabytes, but I think they break that 100 gigabytes up into quotas. You're allowed so many like daily quotas, and it said I surpassed my quota, but it still continued uploading. So I'm like, oh, I don't know what that quota is for if it still allows me to upload even after my quota's been expired. Doug, if you know what the quota is for, you know, or if you ran into it, you know, if there's something bad about going over your daily quota, I don't know. But it's like a really low quota. I think it's only like a few gigabytes a day. Okay, good morning from William, good morning. Borneo, huh? Nice. If you guys don't know, someone mentioned this the other day, the Philippines was just hit with a tsunami, I think. That's where Let's Go Cycling's from. So right now he's kind of quiet, but just keep an ear open what's going on with Let's Go Cycling, if he's still okay and stuff like that. You know, I don't personally know him, but I'm following in his foot tracks. I'm just doing it a little bit slower, and I'm trying to cover more territory. But yeah, so yeah, just keeping the ear open and let it be known, Doug, if you hear anything, and I'll post if he's doing okay or not. So yeah, there was, you know, it killed a few people and stuff like that, but you know, it's also it's Usfin from Let's Go Cycling. He puts out a video every week, and sometimes just goes quiet for a while because one reason or another. So I'm sure he's okay, but we'll keep an ear open for him, make sure he's doing okay. Like I said, he actually started in Vietnam too, and he started like a few weeks before me, and we're doing the same route pretty well, which is nice. That's the way, if I really need to investigate, I'll run over to his videos and say, how did he get over to the Philippines, or, you know, where's he at now, and what's the traffic like in Indonesia, you know. It's hard to figure out because Planet Doug, you know, has been trying to do the same, trying to figure out, because he doesn't quite mention where he's at or where he's going. He does sometimes, but and then he throws a whole week together, so it's kind of hard to figure out his route. I don't bother too much trying to figure out his route, because I don't even try and figure out my own, unless it's that day, the day before. I jump on and go, okay, which road am I going to be on? Okay, Doug, tomorrow will you be heading towards the road? Yeah, I'll be heading to Lake Toba. Yeah, I'll be heading the same road that you took. Yeah, I'll be heading Lake Toba on the same road that you took. I was thinking about going all the way north and then down around. You know, if I try to do the whole island of Sumatra, and go north first and back down, it's an extra 1,400 kilometers. So that's, you know, that's adding, that's adding a lot more, because you know, it's too much. It'll add too much. So I'm going to go ahead and take the road that you did over to Lake Toba and get to the west coast on that route. Here's what percentage cut is YouTube stealing from you on super chats. Perhaps a more meaningful method to support you is PayPal, etc. Yeah, Matt, if you look in the description of you look in the description of my videos, the first thing I set up was PayPal, so there is a PayPal link there. Then I just was able to get up the Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and Patreon. Those are actually just what I just now put up not that long ago, before I left Malaysia. It just took me, I just had to find a day off where I could actually put those up. So I do have those there too. I need to set up a membership through Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. But I don't want too many ways of doing it because then it just gets confusing. So I think the main ways are going to be YouTube, because membership and donations through YouTube, I don't know, I've been told that it's 30% is what they keep, but I haven't I haven't actually looked. I know they pay me 55% on ad revenue, which is generous. So that makes up for like the 30% that they take off everything else. If it's 30%, I'll stop and look. But yeah, the complaint is it's 30% that they try and take off of memberships, and I'm sure that carries over to super chats and super thanks and all that. But that is also, the super thanks and the super chats are actually what makes that paycheck when they do send me the paycheck. That because the 55% ad revenue comes out to like $4 for every 1,000 views. So if you think that each one of my videos gets between 1,000 views and like 1,500, which is better than I was doing, then that's only about $6 per video off of ad revenue. And then I heard that changes for whichever country you're in, but I don't know if that's true. I can't see why that would be true, but it might be. And Ming, hello Ming. Let's see, who did I miss saying hi, hello to? I'm pretty sure there's a few people. William, I said hi. AI no right. Some of these I try and figure out how to actually, you're supposed to, I'll just call you no right. A no right. Any right, no. Yeah, so that one I'll have to figure out right there, the one in the purple. So, good morning, brother. I'm assuming most of my audience are brothers, and I got a few females out there, but not much. I'm not good looking enough for that. Okay, to interact with the locals, please learn basic Indonesian language. Thanks. The number like 1 is satu. Basic food like bread is roti. Water is air. Yeah, I will. Doug sent me a link to an audio thing that I can listen to while I'm on my bicycle. Yeah, so there's sometimes that's like if you're traveling around from country to country, there's two different things. You can learn all the basic hello, thank you, and stuff like this, and but sometimes what that does is there's nothing wrong. I mean, I've learned it pretty well, the hellos and everything like that. But sometimes I realize just to keep to the English a little bit, so I don't set a precedence, because once you say hello or something, like it's salam alaikum or something, they say wa alaikum salam, right? They're like, right off the bat, they think you're Muslim or that you speak the language or something like this. So that sometimes it does cause confusion, even though it shows respect, I guarantee. And the person just starts talking to you in their language. So sometimes it's just as a key introduction. So a lot of times you hear me say hello brother or whatever. That's because I'm trying to do polite greeting, but also establish that I really don't know the language. But so I've gotten in the habit of just sometimes setting the presidency for the president, setting the fact that I really don't know the language up front. But yeah, no, I agree. I usually in each country I do try and learn, the basics: hello, goodbye, and thank you. Those are the ones you really need to know. But that's just that's why a lot of times you hear me speaking or just saying hey brother or hello brother. It's just because I want to make sure that it's up front that if you start a conversation with me I will not understand. But I was not trying to be rude at all, by the way. I just realized that from going from country to country to country and learning all the greetings and stuff. No, Matt, the hidden hammock never unghosted. He kind of just disappeared. He probably just he wasn't doing YouTube for a while, and then he came back in after watching my videos for a while and decided, well, that's be a good way to start doing videos again. But I think YouTube it consumes all your time. It's like signing your soul over to the devil or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You have that imagery from the old stories and the movies and all this, right? But it's the same way. As soon as you start doing YouTube videos and stuff like that, it's all consuming. It's like now you have to learn how to edit. Now your thumbnails and your titles aren't good enough, so your content's not getting pushed out. So now you ought to go watch videos and learn and how to get better and stuff like this. And now you have to learn to do live streams or stuff like this. So every time you learn a little bit, there's so much more to learn, and then it just consumes all your time. So it's like there's 8 hours in a day, but then there's 8 hours in the YouTube world too after your 8-hour day of filming. And even that 8-hour day is like filming. So it's like you go from that to another 8 hours of editing and working on your channel. So you're spending 16 hours a day on YouTube. And if you really don't like it, then you're not going to do it, So I think it was just basically you got back in, realized, it's not worth the time and the effort, and he just stepped back out. So he might just be on a break, Unfortunately, he had his last live stream up. Doug saw it, but I didn't see it. So I can't really comment on what his plans were, but yeah, he's kind of just disappeared. Hey, thank you. We got a super thanks. Everybody give it a like again. And I just came over after watching your Singapore video. Oh, the Singapore video. Yeah, we crossed over and got the visa and back over. Yeah, that was George. I went over with a guy named George. I took advantage of the fact he was going, and when you put two brains together, it's easier to figure out things but George was a weird one. He was a cheap bicycler too. I think his bicycle was $200. But he didn't carry any luggage whatsoever, which made him reliant on hotels and hostels and cheap hotels, cheap hostels. But he had like one of those small little bags that have the strings, and he only carried like a change of clothing in it. And that's it. And he says anything over like 4 kilos, he can start feeling in his neck and stuff, and it's too much, so he's under 4 kilos. So he just, he's a very nice guy though. So I went over to Singapore with him. Well, I explore a little today, Matt. Yeah, probably will. I'll probably set up my tent, see how the tent is, and then go to the park over here The girl over at the phone spot, she recommended going there before I leave and all that. So I'll probably go down there, just have some stuff to throw on video, because I have yesterday wasn't much. And if I put something halfway interesting, that way when I start tomorrow, I can start with a clean day, and I'm not combining any videos together. Like I said, I think a max is like 2 days together is good. If I can keep it at a half an hour, that's even better. Because a half an hour, I don't know if an hour would actually upload. Half an hour barely uploads. Just, you know, with the internet, but then I had to use data. So, if you want an easy day, your first day you could ride to the nearest city. I think I can recommend a good low budget hotel there. It's a bit out of your way. Yeah, put the information, Doug, in the of anywhere that you might have along the way that's like a cheap hotel or cheap hostel, and otherwise it's camping. So. Yeah, you're right. Everything's still reversed on that. Yeah, Matt was talking. Matt, I tried to change that a few times. I can't find the damn setting for that. And trust me, you guys are like, well, it's right here. I already tried to looking up YouTube videos and everything. Look if it was something on my phone was different. I set all the settings that's supposed. So my regular camera has it corrected. It's just when I'm doing the live stream, so like if I have my video, I'm videotaping, it works fine. It's just when I'm live streaming, it doesn't. It reverses everything again. So for some reason, there's something going on either on, I don't think it's YouTube's side. I think it's my phone. I just don't know what. Okay, hey Joe, like do they say hey Joe like I sometimes hear in the Philippines? No. I think it would be anything, it would be Matt. Matt Saylor or something like that. What is it? Doug will know better. There's a hang on. Let me Google it. What is a white person called? Now, hopefully this isn't too woke of a question. I guess I should look for it. Anyway, Malaysia, they have a certain name for it. A bull? Is that right? No. Sorry, guys. A bull. Okay, yeah, there it is. Sorry, my Google came on for some reason. My Google Gemini came on. I guess it. Oh, I said the G word. Oops, and that's why it came on. Okay, let's see. How does the crazy bass weigh? Shameless plug. My friend Daryl is hosting a video creators Connect event on Saturday, November 8th. Oh, tomorrow. Okay, at 10:30. In Kuala Lumpur. Amazing photographer Robin Wong is the guest speaker. Info on Planet Doug. Okay, I'll go get the information from you later, Doug, and post it on my site too. I don't mind giving someone a plug. That's a good question. Nick, Brad, I'm just gonna call you Nick. Nick says, can you use Chat GPT like to find cheap hotels, dorms near you? I would think possibly, yeah. I mean, it would just have to access what it can find in, I think it would register, it would look up, I'm not sure Chat GPT because I think probably Gemini would be, probably be better. I gotta be careful saying that, it'll turn on. Because it's already hooked up to the Google network, but possibly, I don't know if it would probably need access to like Google Maps and stuff, so maybe not ChatGPT. Its learning period's already been completed, so like they allow ChatGPT whatever to learn between this year, and it learns everything on the internet. So unless it has a live feed to the like Google Maps and stuff. But I don't know. Honestly, I'll try that out sometime. I'll see what it can do. It might just point me in the right direction on how to find it. Like look it up on booking.com. But so that's a good question. But I don't know the answer. Screen went to black. Hobo. Can you guys see me right now? Give me a thumbs up if you guys can see me. Okay, I can see me. I'm just making sure. So the screen went black because I said the G word, and the AI assistant jumped up and override. So Gemini actually jumped up and turned on. Okay, screen went black. Okay, bull. I don't think it's bully, but I'm thinking it's bull. Anyway, boule. Okay, thank you for the pronunciation. So, a white person or foreigner, or just white person? Boule. Like over in Hawaii, it was holly. So they called the white person, the foreigner, hollies. And so yeah, there's certain spots. Now in Malaysia, it was Matt something, but that was for all foreigners, and it wasn't disrespectful. It was I can't remember what it was. I'm sure Planet Doug will put it up, like Matt Solder or something like that. Okay, screen's good now. All right, boule. Yeah, Holly in Hawaii. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Matt Sala, which is kind of so when I first got in a conversation with someone, they kept saying that, and I wasn't sure. I was like, no, I thought they thought my name was Matt Sala, and then I was like, well, okay, you're not. But then they didn't. They're like, no. And so I was like, okay, you must be talking about someone named Matt Sala. And it was like, no, it's like a reference to all foreigner type. I was like, okay, I got you now. I've never heard that because it does sound like a legitimate person's name. But to have that as a slang for something that you call foreigners, it was crazy to me. I was like, well, I changed my name to Matt Sala. I come seeing my wife on her visa run from Singapore to JB every 30 days while waiting for her long-term pass to come through. Not having to talk to immigration officers helps lessen the anxiety. Yes, it does. Getting from Malaysia to Singapore without having to talk to any officer, just taking your visa and going deet out and then deet in, and then you're Singapore, and then coming back the same day, just going deet, there's no questions. It is so easy to go. So being down in JB is a great spot if you need to do visa runs and you want to live in Malaysia and you need to go back and forth and stuff. They made it so easy to cross the border down there. It's just ridiculously nice. So I agree. Yeah, all that travel anxiety, all this, like what could possibly go wrong is gonna, if you're one of those people like me, it's like I see the cup half full, but I expect it to be half empty. You know what I'm saying? So I expect it to be half empty, then I'm pleasantly surprised to find out it's half full type of guy. So it's like, so I get the anxieties because I'm always like, half empty, right? But, it's like going across the border to Singapore and back is an awesome way. If you're going to do the bicycle trip all around all of Malaysia, or scooter trip or whatever, you can really take your time. You know what I'm saying? Just take your time, and then hit Singapore, and then come back, do the border run, and then back up and stuff. It's super easy, and it's a great thing to do. And then you got your 3 months again, or was it 2 months? Yeah, 3 months. Can you share your route plan while in Sumatra, so we know where you plan to end the journey? Remember that Sumatra has tigers. Yeah, I'm aware of the tigers. I wish I could get some good bear spray. But pepper up the bushes if I ever hear something rattling in there. So I call white man as Matt Sala. Yeah, I can go over it real quick. Matt Sala comes from the term mad sailor. That's what I read too. That was one of the things, like, used to describe rowdy, drunk, white sailors in British Malaya, our term for shipwrecked sailors who were stranded on the shores of but anyway, someone has a request real quick, so let's do this. I've already done this in one of the other videos, but I can't remember it right off the bat. But you guys, it's in one of them. So I told about the route. So the route changed a little bit. So this is backwards, guys. So my first route's going to be from Tanjung Balai. I'm heading on this road. So on the blue dot. This is the route I'll be heading until I get over to Lake Toba, right? So that will take me to the lake. I'm going to cross across, hit that island, go over to the other side. When I come out the other side, I'll be actually I'll be coming out there. So I'll be crossing from this side across and I'll be coming out on this side. So then I just need to actually, let's see. Give me a second. This is just to get me over to okay, there's actually two routes here, but I think this is the one that actually, so once I get across the island, Mount Toba, or Lake Toba, I'll actually be going south. This is actually the one in the dark blue, takes me through better country. there's I think this is the one, if you notice how much the windiness, because it's all downhill from what Planet Doug told me, is that the initial getting out of the crater, I think that the lake is basically a crater or something. Once I get to this point, it's actually all downhill going down to Sibolga. So, but that eventually that will get me at least to the west coast, and then from the west coast I'll be just taking. Let me kind of. Oh, no. Let me choose on map. See if this map actually. Now I went over a lot of this. If I can. See if I can actually get a map that. Yeah, okay. That's basically. Now I had to drop a pin for like a add a stop because it tries to route me the wrong way. This is more or less the route. I had to be a little inland for quite a ways, but it eventually takes a nice coastal route that actually will take me. I dropped that pin just so it take me onto the coastal route and not run me through. But if you notice, that coastal route pretty well runs all the way down until I can take the ferry. And then from the ferry, I'm going to hop across and just continue on until I get past Bali. I'll take the islands all the way across until I hit basically the last islands there are, and then I'll be making my way back up north so I'll try and hit this, and then I get up to here, then over to like East Sumatra. Me. Sorry. Let's see. So once I get all the way past Bali, I'll be able to start going up north. But now you see the little blue dots? These are all the ports I'll be able to go to. So there's a port there. I can come up to this port and go across. Now I'll be over in Borneo, and then Borneo I'll be able to do the other side of Malaysia. And then I can start heading over to taking the same route that Usfin actually went on over to the Philippines. I'll have to figure out how he got across. But then from the Philippines, I can go down to Papua New Guinea. And that basically gives me all the coverage of all the roads possible. I mean, all the islands, basically. I have enough time. I have my C1 visa with an extension of 2 times. So if I really needed, I could have up to 6 months. But eventually I will have to go over to Malaysia to see that side, and then not the peninsula anymore. I'm talking about over in East Malaysia, and so I had to reapply for my C1 at least one more time to get back in. Anyway, like I said, I'm trying to see the whole world, so I don't want to leave out any of the islands. My thing is I want to check off all of this. And once I eventually do get down to Australia, the bottom of the world for me is New Zealand. Once I get to New Zealand, there's a long trail in New Zealand, starts up north and goes all the way through to the very south. It's not really that long of a trail there. It's a little over 3,000 kilometers, which isn't that bad. Well, it's not that bad anymore. I've done a lot more than 3,000. That might be a lot of walking though. I don't know how it is. The northern island, probably bicycle would be no problem, but once you get to the southern island, but depending on how bad it is, I could push my bicycle a lot. You know, just use my bicycle as like a way to carry my gear and stuff. And when the road is good enough, ride the bicycle. As long as it's not mountain climbing. If it gets into too much like that type of trail, it'd be nearly impossible. But yeah, so New Zealand's going to be the last spot, and then I'm going to have to start heading up north to like the other side of Burma. Basically, you can't do Burma. The Chinese, or not the Chinese, the Japanese guy that I met that's cycling over to Morocco, from Singapore to Morocco, he has to bypass Burma because Burma's just not, it's a no-go country right now. So yeah, so he's got to go. He has to bypass it on airplane. So I'll probably end up going up towards Bangladesh or something like that and starting my journey again. And then, you know, this is a long ways away. So my plans will change, but I just plan on seeing the whole world on bicycle now. I guess that's the plan, is that I'm going to go ahead and just cycle the whole world. And but I can actually start going to India and then start making my way westbound until I basically get to the same spot, back over to Spain, Morocco, different places like that. And you're talking about, that's still that's a few years worth to actually cycle the world, you know. So anyway, guys, that's all I can really think of for like my long-term plans. But short-term plans is see all the islands while I can. New Zealand, not winter season. Yeah, New Zealand's weird because New Zealand has two different zones. Like the northern island is tropical, the other's very picky. The southern islands, like, you really got to time that one. There is an actual time that that everybody goes out and actually hikes that trail, because it takes about 3 to 4 months to hike that trail. But they have an app, and they also have NZ Topical, which I have both of the topical maps. They're offline topical maps, and they're huge. And there's also an app for it too, to make sure, like the Camino Trail. There's an app called, there's several apps actually, but there's like Camino Ninja, different things like that, and it helps just so you know you're always on the right trail. But these are just plans. The reason why I'm doing all this is just because I was just kind of always been aimless wanderer, hobo, hopping trains and drinking and, sleeping in graveyards and, wherever else I could curl up into. And it was very mindless travel, and it was still travel. It was a life of adventure, and the life of being a hobo is an awesome life if you can handle it. Try it out, see if it's for you. If it's not, join the work world again. It's just it's a priority thing. It's like travel's your priority or work's your priority. It's one or the other. So if work's your priority and you travel on your off time, great. If travel's your priority, then work's just to support that travel. And so that's what I ended up doing. Travel has always been my priority, trying to make a life with adventure and stuff. But like the Camino Trail really opened me up to a whole different world of goal-oriented travel. And goal-oriented travel is like, I haven't done that. I haven't written that book on that subject. I haven't cycled across I haven't done a long trail. I haven't done bicycling, bicycle through a country. That's why I wanted to do the raft trip, because I haven't done that yet. But I also haven't cycled through the whole world either. So why not? Let's do it. Let's see if we can get this done. Plus, it'll give me a reason to stay on YouTube a lot longer. You know what I'm saying? So I figure I'm not going to quit this. I might cut back to where I'm not so hard on the daily vlog, but I've already done that. You know, do the daily vlog, but reduce the sections that I, you know, add 2 days together, add 3 days together. But this is going to continue on. You know, it's just, I'm going to have to figure out, you know, I have to figure it out as I go along. So, yeah, guys, don't expect me to give up anything soon, because I think the way that everything's turned out is I bought a cheap bicycle, and now that cheap bicycle has actually become my life. So I'm a cyclist now, like it or not. It's just who I am, and you know, if I get out there and start walking, it feels way too slow. And okay, let me see what I'm missing here, guys. Sorry. Okay, I shared my route. Malaysian white man. Okay. Thanks for the history. Yeah, it's got a bridge connecting to the mainland. Crazy Ho, oh, and also, if you guys want to keep up, I will, if I'm just in town, I might not have my Strava on, but once I start traveling again, if you want more in depth, like what I'm actually taking, you can look at my Strava map. You might have to subscribe to the Strava, I mean for free. You know, join the channel for free. And that'll give the actual roads I'm on. The relive is just so I can have a cheap like flyover at the end. And then my Google Maps is always accessible. So you can see the areas that I'm going and staying each night. So these are all things I do, so you guys can keep up on my route. And each blue dot is where I sleep, which is either a campsite or a cheap accommodation, which is less than $10 for the night. So I just started a new folder. It'll all those links are in the descriptions of the videos. Yeah, I hope I get more. I hope I get more view time. That's actually. Nick basically said, I hope you get more subscribers. Yeah, I do too. That's one thing, guys, I'm not trying to be cliche, but when you first get on the video, just hit the thumbs up, because that'll get spread out, and I know that ends up going in your thumbs up folder or the like folder, and just give it a thumbs down afterwards, you know, after the video is over. That'll kick in the algorithm a little, and then my videos will spread out a little, or if you know someone, share it and all this stuff. Subscriber base doesn't matter quite as much as the viewing, you know, so the subscriber base, as long as I have a loyal, you know, good subscriber base of people that follow me because they like my videos, and that's all that really, you know, matters to me. It's nice to have lower subscribers because I'm able to communicate and keep contact with everyone. But yeah, so get there. You plan to write a book or something at the end of all your travels? No, I don't really plan on writing a book. I figured this is my book. It's a video log, so I started this just so I'd have 1 year. I don't have the time and the attention span to basically write a book. It's not something I have in my nature to sit down and, you know, and I don't think I would do any good at it anyway. It takes a certain type of person to be good at writing a book, and I just but I figured I'd record at least a daily vlog of a year of my life, and that way I had that year as kind of like my book. So YouTube is my book. Now if someone wanted to step up and write a book, they're more than welcome to. You know, but really, I would have to sit down with someone, they'd have to interview me, and I spent a lot of my early years of being a hobo, my travels around the country and stuff, around my home country, as a drunk, a heavy drinker. So all those memories are like, yeah, you know, they say only the weak brain cells die, but you know, so a lot of those memories, it's like, so my hobo stories and my hobo ramblings, just, it's because all of a sudden a memory will get jogged or something like that, but a lot of those days are very fuzzy because I lived in a bottle like a genie. So looks like Daniel not coming to KL to eat Sindel again. Well, if I come back to KL, it's because of my good friend Erish. Honestly, because if I backtrack too much, then I won't go forward. So like there's so many more spots I still need to go to. So I would love to go back and you know, and talk with my friend Erish, but I want to keep moving forward. That way I can travel the whole world. So anyway, guys, I've been on an hour and 20. I should probably go ahead and wrap this up. So Nick, thank you for being my first member, though. That's kind of that made my day right there, because yeah, your name's in green and you got a badge. So I'll have to figure out something to do for you, my brother. Definitely, I'll start getting, as soon as I upload my videos, I'll send it out to you. I'm still working on the thumbnails and stuff, and I might, for members, I might open a separate board, even though I have the Telegram board. I might open a WhatsApp board, just for to have certain people, and the other, and if you're part of that, I can actually, yeah, WhatsApp board, just so you guys can stay in contact with me all on one board, because WhatsApp's very popular. And then some of my other people that support me through PayPal, which I have a few. I have John and I have David. I can send them a link because I consider that still a subscription, and because they have like all the time. But all right, guys, but that's just let me look into getting all this stuff set up. But thanks for being my first member. It's yeah, but Nick, this is also like you're just my first one, so it's good to set these things up. So you know, this is my hobby. You know, this is part of my life, is actually figuring these things out as I go along. It's just one big Frankenstein, and I'm trying to create this Frankenstein and make him walk. But you know, right now he's not walking too well. He's walking a little bit. I got monetized. That's a good first step, right? That's only 6% of people actually get monetized. So regardless, it's like, well, I was one of that. I got lucky. You know, I got yeah, and a large part was thanks to people like Doug from Planet Doug and stuff. They're just being a mentor and keeping me encouraged and giving me good information and helping me out in these places I'm going. And I'm not just a hobo on a bicycle. And everybody that subscribed to me, thank you guys, and my loyal fan base that I do have, Buka Life, John, David, Matt, everyone, and yeah. We'll just see if we can get this monster walking one day. We'll get there. We'll be big like the others. Look out, Mr. Beast. All right. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end that there. Tomorrow we take off. We start this, officially start the Indonesian adventure, and we'll go looking for the second ping in my Google Maps journal. And all right, guys, thank you for joining me. And this is going to be fun. And signing off.